The attics, A-T-T-I-C-S, are basically the clear lids that open up, and they come with all these pieces and parts to dissect them up, so for storage. All right, I'm going to leave it at that, okay? Because this is not our first go-around with these. In the original T-Lock, we had attics, okay? And I'll never forget this because I pulled it out of the wall. I actually had one still. It was up in the wall earlier this week, and it's the clear lid, but you'll see it's not as clear, it's translucent. Is that the right word? Okay, or it's diffused plastic. Is that even better? Wow. It's not really clear. The new ones are wicked clear, okay? Both of them have emblazoned on the top the world's best power tool company. Minnie, what is that?
Festool.
Yeah, baby. Okay. Now, I have one of these at home, but like I said, this is not my first go around. So Chris, you're gonna like this. I was gifted a drill back in 2012. Okay? And when I got it, I'm gonna break it out. Check it out, baby. It was my Pro Tool PDC, and it had an addict in it. Okay? And here's my drill. And everybody may recognize this. Look, see it? It's the PDC. The original hammer drill we brought here. We released it in Europe under the brand Pro Tool. That used to be one of our brands. And what we did is we fused it into Festool. We had a big thing where we brought it all into the Festool lineup. And you'll see they're identical. In fact, they all have the fast fix, and I could still take the Central Tech and put it on there like that. See that? So it went from Pro Tool to Festool. All right, this is our quad drive system. But then last year we came up with this. We bettered it. We're not going to sit back and say, hey, we got the world's best cordless hammer drill out there, 18 volt. We bettered it with the switches and less confusion, even a better handle. So we're always going to innovate. How's that for innovation, Minnie? Not so bad, huh? Told you I'd mix it up a little. Okay. Oh, and I had to look at the year I got this. It was 2012. So still runs, still a champ. Batteries are still kicking. And yes, the addict is the same on the T-Lock. So Chris, I think that answered your question earlier. Sedge, how long has the addict been out? So now, I'm going to go through this, but I'll go through it a little bit better on that one. So it'll look Festool, not Pro Tool. But you open up the attic like this, and you have all this storage in top. And yes, the original bit cassettes, we had those as well. But when you close it, you have to lock it. Aha! For me, that's the first thing I looked at on the new attics. I go, please tell me they're auto lock, because what would happen is on the old T-Lock sustainer, the attic, see how it says unlock right here? You open it up like that and you put all your storage in there. Okay, but what would happen is I would just go like this. Okay, and then I would go to the job site and this would tilt. Guess what you're doing later, Chris? It's okay, I have a magnet for you. All right, where the new one, to compare apples to apples, I'm gonna just take these pieces and parts right here. And this is beautiful. We knew there was a situation where people forgot to lock it, because I always would forget to lock it, and lo and behold, I would have a mess on the floor. Look, see how that auto locks just like that? You push it down and it's locked in. So everything will stay secure in there. Next part is this. To divvy it up, these were the pieces that went in to divvy it up. You could configure it to your needs, and they would slide right in like this. Okay, and I would always say take that notch and make sure it's facing forward, not down. That way there, the whole bottom is sealed off, and you can configure it like that. But what if you needed something bigger? These were stationary. Where the new Generation 3 version, as I open this up, it's completely open. So if I just wanted to put like a map or a book in there, I could put that in and lock it in and have it on the job site while I'm taking a break. but all the pieces and parts that come with are a little bit different as I drop some on the floor. Hopefully we can all see this. The difference between these, which won't work in a new system, and vice versa, it's a completely redesigned, is these the little dovetails. See them? And they have pins in here. So what you need to do, depending on how you want to configure it, you take these, okay, and I always put that down like this, and I can slide it in like this, because you see how these, right here, these little points, will register in these little clips down here. So that's how you know it goes down and locks in, and there's your dividers. Follow? Good. Chris, I always go by Chris because he always follows really well. He gives me a little bit of a nod. And then you could take these dividers like this, look, and slide them in and divvy it up. It's a better locking system. Now, what if I need something to store in here that's longer than this? I could actually use it this way. And this is the other piece. You get 3 different types of pieces. You got one of these, you got one of these, and then you have this. And this is one that kind of people look at and go, how do you use this? So there's little dovetails right here. I can slide it in, make sure the point is down. All right, and you take this one like this, you slide it in, and now you have a divider this way, crosswise, and it locks in that little pin. So if I have like some of these larger screws like this, I need to store like this, I can do it just like this. Okay, pretty simple. And once again, when I snap it down, no shifting and nothing falls out. What a heck of a system. So there you go. The addicts are available in the Generation 3 137, and if you forget and you've turned this over and you lose that card, it says it right here. That's the height of the Sustainer Generation 3. It also comes in a 187 and a 237. So if you want to do a switch out, you can buy an empty Sustainer with an attic, and look, this is the same height. I could actually take my ID18, take everything out of it, and you see the insert? I could take it and switch it out, and now I can put my impact driver in there, and now I can do all the storage in here, and it comes with a pack to trick it out, just like that. This is the old bit cassette. These 4 here are the new ones. I'm just gonna grab one of these that compares apples to apples, and you'll see it where this is the old style. These came up. These are your 50 millimeter or 2-inch ones. They are Centrotech. All right, and these were the older style. We had different cassettes, and the way they worked is you would take this lid off, which I will right now. I always break it out like this, watch. Well, you made a mess here, Chris. To take the cassette lid off, whoopsie, I want to first depress this and lift it. And what I do is I just take this, and this is my paint lifter on and I just take that off just like that. I had this down to a science. I want to show you the lid. It has these little posts right here. You just pry it a little. So here's the difference. You see this little tab right here? You have to slide it in like this, and it locked in. So I could go to the job site and have these like this, okay, and then store my screws in here, old style. And we had 2 or 3 different ones. Once again, I wanted to make sure I called this out. The new ones will not fit in the old attic. Say you got an old PDC out there, it won't work. It won't clip in, nor will the old ones. Let me see if I can get this. I can pry that out. Wow, there it is. See, this won't fit in there. It won't lock in. So the old ones will not go in the bit cassettes if you have some of those. Good? Okay. I think I covered that, old versus new. Now, really neat, and I did not know this. Maybe I should have read the online catalog. But what's nice about this is, and I want to point this out, these don't tilt out, but they don't fall out either. And there's a reason. There's little magnets in there. It's a magnetic strip. So when I put this in, look how it locks right in. And you don't dump these all over the place, see? We have different bit cassettes. This one, I'll call out, has a PZ, which is posi drive, 1 and 2, Phillips 1, 2, and 3, and a square drive 1, square drive 2, a T15 through T40. Okay, so it's pretty cool. And these are all in a 50 millimeter. And look how it just snaps in like this. Look, it goes in like this and snaps right in. So that's the first bit cassette. You know, I mentioned something earlier. Another bit cassette is this one. I'm going to open it up. And in this one, you have the shorty 50 millimeter, 3, 4, 5, oh my God, 3, 4, 2 5s, a 6, and an 8. And those are shorty Brad point bits. And you can see they're still magnetized. And you'll see that point there and the lip, the spur points on there. These are really clean hole, and those will get you in a really tight spot with your Central Tech system. And on this bit cassette, you have a Phillips 1, 2, 3, posi 1 and 2, square drive 1 and 2, and T315 through 40. That's your second bit cassette. You have these, and boy, I love these too because I use these all the time. These are your 100 millimeter or 4 inch. But you get your Phillips 1, 2, 3, and square drive 1, 2, and 2 2s. Actually, 2 2s. Does that sound right? 2 2s? You have 2 2s. 2 square drives, 2 2s. Right? And I'm going to pull this out because I want to talk about this momentarily. On the fourth bit cassette, look at all those 1 inch tips. You have Phillips 1. Wow, 2 Phillips 1s, 2 Phillips 2s, and 2 Phillips 3s, all with that magnetic position on the bottom. PZ 1s, 2s, both 2 of each, 2 square 1s, 2 square drive 2s, T15, T20, 25, 30, and 40, all 1 inch bit tips. So those fit in any magnetic, not just Festool, any magnetic drive. Okay, so there you go. I just wanted to point that out. This is the Central Tech, and you're going to notice this is elongated here. All right, it's a little rounded right in here. These points on the hex, I got a little off, but it's still 1/4 inch across the flat. And what happens is I'm going to take this off just like this. And when this seats in here through the Central Tech, it seats into the fast fix stub. So that way there, it's a, how do you say, less run out, a more positive drive, less bit slippage. It isn't a drill truck that could rotate open. It's just a better system, always has been. But on the impact driver that we came out with, we know everybody has the little stubbies. That's the difference between Central Tech. I'll bring this out. Central Tech and that. Okay, see the extra? That way there it fits into this fast fix stub. But we came out because we didn't want to fight it because everybody who has impacts has those, a bunch of those drivers. But once again, this is a great this here is a great accessory because once I put that bit tip in there, it doesn't come out whatsoever. It locks in. So that's something else on our website you might want to check out. Now, I mentioned Central Tech versus the regular 1/4 power drive, but I also want to point out that I mentioned this several times, and all the drills I pulled out today, that's the fast fix stub. And what goes on the fast fix stub is your right angle chuck, your eccentric chuck. Those have gone, this one has gone through 3 phases, this one a couple of phases. We made it better. We have 1/2 inch chucks, we got 3/8 chucks, we got depth setting chucks, we got fancy silver chucks, we got 3/8 hex drive for sockets. The list keeps going on. We have drywall chucks for all of the fast fix. So it's an overall system that just adds up. I'm excited because we came out with the addicts again. We made them better. We made them more versatile. And I know for a fact we're not just going to stop with the 4 cassettes. We're going to keep going and adding different ones. with the central tech system. So I just wanted to point that out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to put a domino right here and show you the lineup process on that. And that has been a huge aha moment in showing that joinery, bottom to sides and bottom to face frame. So I'll do a lot of layout coming up here in a few minutes. Okay, next, I'm going to take an inside measurement to cut my bottom exact. And you'll see I have the groove here, because that's where we'll slide in the back. But when I do this, I'm going to take a quick measurement, and I'm going to look at the top here. And this is a really cool tape. The red line right here will show, okay, 723 millimeters. So what I did earlier, yesterday, is I cut a board 723 millimeters. I'm going to do all the joinery today. I thought getting stuff done to be ready. Okay, so I'm going to hold it like this. And what I need to do is come around here. Let's see if I can do that. You should have somebody holding this for me. And I'm going to bring it right in here. Chris, can you get over my shoulder here? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to bring it right here. I already know how to do the joinery for the dominoes. We're going to put 1, 2, and 3 dominoes to each side. But what I want to do is I want to do a little bit of layout. I'm just going to take a mark here and go like this, okay, just like this, because that's where I also want to place a domino. I'm not worried that I canted it up like that, because everything in the face frame will be a tight domino, and everything in the plywood, the sides and the bottoms, will be what? I'll put it at the 6 millimeter lateral tolerance setting. Cool. So I have all the marks I need. I'm just going to take it like this. This is my bottom. I always label bottom. Okay, just like this. And I'll just go side, side. Okay, just really quick for my brain. This is how I do it. The reason I don't write side A, right or left, is because I remember this little thing inside my head that goes, oh, put the groove to the groove. You'll understand in a minute. So I'm going to pull this up. There's the dominoes we had last time. I'm going to do this really quick. One mistake I already made. Okay, I'm going to label, because I'm going to be putting it together. I have it labeled on the outside, so I wouldn't make this mistake. See where I have B for bottom? I'm going to label this. This is my bottom. So I don't do the joinery up here. And this is my bottom. Okay, so if I take this like this, and if you remember, hopefully you do, or you can review it in episode 95, this material is 50 millimeters wide. I've always built face frames. If I built face frames, 50 millimeters or 2 inch. So I'm going to take my side like this. I'm going to take my bottom just like this. And remember, I want everything level to this. So my offset is pretty simple. The top of my board, and if you remember, and when I showed you domino joints for a bookcase, I always put the top, here's my bottom's top, right here to the top of the line. Now I didn't draw a 50 millimeter line, did I, or a 2-inch line? No, I just have some extra stock here left over. So I do a little line up like this. Okay, and I'm pretty much ready to rock and roll. I'm just gonna take it like this. I'm gonna get some really good clamps. Oh, I just happen to have them here. Okay. I always try to clamp close to my edge here. And the reason I do that is because I don't want it to bow. And always put 2 clamps. I don't have the, actually, I'm gonna reorientate it so I can get another clamp close to that. Sometimes this material can get a little wonky. So I'll kind of get it in there like this. I got a hole right here. I'm at the 50 millimeter mark. I got over here, Chris, come over here. I got groove to groove, top to top. Okay, so I'll come over here. So we have it just like that. That is done because if we use the machine, and remember when I define the machine, we're going to be using the base as our reference point. So I'm going to take this off. We'll need it for the face frame joinery. But I'm going to take it like this. I'm going to set it up like this. I could pull this out a little bit, okay, to give me some leeway. I'm using a 5 by 30. Minnie, what's half of 30?
15.
Okay, so I'm going to set my plunge depth right here at 15. And remember what I said earlier, in the plywood, we're going to make them all loose. Over on these tables here, we'll do a final assembly. So if everything in the face frame is tight, which we hope it is, you'll see all of these have been tight. It'll make assembly wicked easy. And I've seen people fumble and bumble with this. Now, it really works well, Sedge, with electricity. Okay, and I'll do a quick measurement as well, because I want to get it close to the center. I can eyeball it actually, but I'm going to put one in the center, and I'll put one right here, close enough. Okay, this is just a quick reference point because they're all going to be loose. I have that shift, which right here, it gives you 3 millimeters on each side. It gives you 6 millimeters of wiggle room. Okay, so you're going to understand a lot of reference points on the machine. From the front edge, I'm going to use that flat. Now, if I hold it stout, but what I like to do, because that's basically the same thickness, so you know what? Let me get a piece of plywood. Sometimes, if you don't really pay attention and you don't have something the same thickness, this gives you a little bit extra room for the base to hang out on. So there's the first one. Now the next one I'll line up, and I'm going to do this. This is not, can you still hear me? Okay, I want to turn this off in case I'm not coming across clear. This is not laying on top of the plywood, okay? What this does is gives me a line here, a cursor to look at. See that? Okay, so now I'm still referencing the base. And then the last one, I could probably get away with using the flap. But what I want to do is I want to use another reference point right here on the edge of the machine. Okay, that way there I don't interfere with the groove. And I'll just take it like this. Okay, so I'll take it like this, and now I'll do the corresponding mortise into the sides. Okay, now on the bottom here is etched into the domino. A line, and then I'll do that from here. See how much more stable it is when you put that extra piece, that sacrificial piece there, and those all lined up exactly where I wanted them. So I will take that off. Okay, just like this. I'm going to take this piece and set it over here. Oh no, for now, I'll take this side and set it over here. Beautiful. Next, because when I put this together, it'll go like this. See the groove to the groove? The next piece I'm going to take is the same process. Whew. But this is why I labeled bottom. And yes, in classes, we've had a lot of tops that had extra mortises. And that's okay, because that takes a weight off of the cabinet when installing. Okay. Never mind. Bottom, groove to groove. I'll take it here. And yeah, this is kind of the same thing, but you know what? We get time today. It's the summertime. Nice and relaxed. And that'll get me at that 50 millimeter mark, or the top of the bottom. I'm gonna lock it in. And it's just a simple process, everybody. I'm just gonna verify in case it moved a little, and it did. I felt it as I was clamping it. Okay, lock it in, and we're good. Good, good. You see how that's all even? Because we ripped these all simultaneously. with the parallel guides, absolutely perfect. So this one is now the front. So I'll go across, oh, let me do a quick reference. Oh, is that the center, Chris?
Can be.
Hey, did that come up? You hear what it said? Chris said, it can be if you want it to be. I don't know if anybody's gonna cut apart the cabin and say, that's not quite exactly the center, you're off a few millimeters. Okay, I'm gonna use the edge here, remember. The elusive piece of plywood. Okay, there we go. And remember, I'm using the edge of the machine. Remember, I'm just using that cursor. I'm not sitting down on there. I'm using the flap from the front. I can't believe I just put the plug-it cord in a knot. And here we go. Okay, so that is 6 mortises. We have 4 more to go. 2 on the front of the bottom and 2 in here. You're gonna learn a lot when we do that face frame. Next, I'm gonna take this out, get this off to the side. I'm gonna keep the bottom here, because that's what we're gonna be using horizontally. I'm gonna get this over here for final assembly. Beautiful. Touchdown. Next. Here comes the fun. I think we're done with the plywood. I'm not sure. Okay, so this is 3/4 material or 18 millimeter. We're going to use 20 on the gauge block. We're going to plunge horizontally on this one. Okay, next. Let's set up our machine. We're going to do them tight. We're going to use the gauge block. Remember, that's the thickness of the material in there. Okay, and our plunge depth is 15. Pretty easy. This is my reference. And remember, we use the base for the bottom to the sides as our reference. And hopefully I mentioned this, but it's 10 millimeters from the base to the center. Now we're using the plate. The plate is from here, it has this arc, it's where the handle is. And the distance, if I set this at 20, is exactly 10 millimeters, half of 20, because that's the thickness from here to the center. So I'm just gonna lay it out here. Remember, it's loose setting. So that's an easy joint, right? So let's see how we did so far. We'll take this over here. I'll grab some dominoes. Okay, 5 by 30. So we're gonna take these and let's assemble these. Okay, so these are my 2 sides. So I'm gonna take my bottom right here. And we went off this face, that's the inside. So I'll take these and I'll put them in. There we go. We'll do the other side like this. And this is the fun one because we're gonna be doing 2 more mortises on the face frame, but we gotta know where to reference the plate. And the other thing we gotta know is from what face on the face frame. Face on the face frame. So let's get this together. And yes, it comes together really nice. See how the groove is just going like that, baby. Yeah, baby, we're getting our groove on Festool Live. So I'll turn this around. I wanted to get the best possible look here. So Chris, I'm gonna probably have you, as I turn this around for the audience. Minnie, do we still have an audience?
We do.
Oh, I haven't scared them away yet. Okay, and we'll take the bottom. Whoopsie. That's why I label it groove to groove. Just like this. Let's get her in there. Okay. That's lining up. Oh my God. This is where I usually go, phew, it's actually working. Okay, next. Because this was always the fun one in cabinet class, is when people started assembling the overall piece. We have so many pieces coming together, what was the right process? Hear me out on this. It'll just take a few more minutes to do this. So the next one we have, the next joint we have, is we have to put the domino right here. I'm just gonna do this. I do this all the time. This is where the domino is. All right, so what's the right face to put the plate? A lot of people would do this. They would put it here. No, we made our mark. That's where the plate goes, right there. But boy, it can get a little awkward lining it up there. And remember, we're doing all these tight, these two tight, because that's what we've done on all the face frame, is tight. It'll help us when we start to assemble. Boy, a lot of stuff is coming around now. I only waited 48 episodes for it to come around now. But I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna lock the face frame down. And I'm gonna do a little bit of more layout. When I say that, I wanna make it easy for myself. And yes, like I always do, I always put things away. Right over here, let me get my saddle square. Can't work without this thing. It's right here. So what I'm gonna do, to make it easier for myself, a little less awkward, I am going to grab that line here and bring it out like this, have it right here, and bring it out like that. So when I capture that, oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna be plunging vertically. So remember what I've always taught everybody, and during Festool Lives, whenever I plunge vertically, I use this wonderful piece called the support bracket. And it taps right in, and whenever you put something on the domino with the support bracket, always make sure it's on a flat surface and put it on like this. All right, so that's on there nice and tight. We still have it set at 20 millimeters on the gauge block. So the way we're gonna do this is I'm gonna take it like this. Remember, pressure vertically, I'm putting pressure right up here like this, so it plunges at 90. So it's not really awkward, it's just a different way of doing it. And Chris, you can come in here. This is why I extended the line. See right here? I can use this center line off of the base to line up that mark. Remember when you turn the machine on, you pinch it on. Oopsie! Guess what I forgot to do? Make it tight. It's all right. We'll let that one fly. But I'll tell you what, it may be a little difficult in assembly now. Man, that was so smooth. I didn't even know I had plunged in there. You don't have to keep plunging. Okay. Woo! Minnie's still writing. So this one will always be okay. And earlier, well, yesterday, I was going through this, and these come in and out. I was dry fitting those sides. But sometimes dry fitting can be problematic. So what I always do, and I always dry fit, to the point of being overly cautious, but I want to make sure, and when I hit it with glue, it all comes together. But what I do is I never sand this, the face of the domino, because that there will eliminate glue line. What I'll do is I'll take it, and there's a little rib on there, and I'll take it and go like this. And there you go, nice and easy. So, in the past, I used to say, okay guys, let's go into final assembly. And I used to sit there and laugh, because what happens, or what would happen, and anybody who's attended a Festool class knows it's really funny to watch people assemble this. I would always say, assemble your carcass first, because I had you do them all loose, And that's why everybody wants to know what's the big deal about this knob or button. It helps the ease of assembly. Because in the hardwood, if I hadn't made a mistake, these would all have been tight. So when I put this on, I have so much leeway here, here. See how I can pull this over and get it in there like that. This starts to flow together and it starts to come together. But there's another big tip on all of this because, okay, so now I got to move that over because that's the one that wasn't lined up. Okay, it's starting to come together. So there's what normally happens when you start to assemble something like this. Okay, you start to go like this. If those dominoes are in it too tight, and what happens, I can almost guarantee, this is 18 millimeters, and we plunged in what, Minnie, 15? If you go like this, and they're too tight in there, and you're forcing it, don't force it is what I'm getting at. Those dominoes will pop through, okay? But when I look at this, oh yeah, baby. Man, guys, it almost sounds like it. I know what I'm doing, but I think I fooled everybody. Let's look at our finish bottom here. As I take this and bring it in, look at that. It's perfectly flush, just like this, perfectly flush, and it lines up all the way around, just like that. And yes, it will come together. I just had it together, didn't I? Oh, there it is. So there's your bottom, two sides. Well, yeah, so there we go. It helps if I had a couple clamps to bring it together, but I think everybody gets the gist of it. That's your bottom to sides and bottom to face frame. And now with a little bit of glue, a couple of screws on the side, you can always finish it up with some applique molding to hide up the screws. It all comes together just right.